Hello there, my name is Thomas O'Regan, and over the last 3.5 years, my wife and I have built an 11 property portfolio. And I'm sorry to say, but we are going to sell, we are actually selling some properties now. So we're selling four of them, and then we'll only have seven properties, which is very, very upsetting because it's almost like I do these intros for these videos and I introduce myself as being someone that owns 11 properties between me and my wife, but I will only own seven soon. So that's so sad. It's like part of my identity. But I don't care about my identity, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, why am I selling these properties? Everyone says hold your properties forever, never sell your properties, and I was like that. I really thought I wanted to hold my properties forever and I never wanted to sell them. And the reality is I do still feel like that. But you've got to really think sometimes, like, what is the best thing for me to do right now, regardless of what the rules are or what I said I would do. What is the actual best thing for me to do right now? And that's, if you ask yourself those questions and you get the genuine answer, that's what will take your property portfolio to the next level. And it's not all about, like, you don't always have to play by the rules. You just have to be making sure you're doing the best thing for yourself and your property portfolio at all times. And if you sit down and you do the numbers and you can see that you selling your property, some of your properties will get you a lot further along in the journey, then it is what it is. Okay, so let me give you an example of that in my property portfolio so far. So me and my wife, in a long time ago, me and my wife had two investment properties, and they weren't good investment properties because they weren't generating a passive income. They weren't positive cash flow. They were very negative cash flow, and they didn't have very good capital growth potential because it was at the wrong time in the market cycle, and interest rates were going up and so on. And basically, these properties were about $400 or more combined negative cash flow per week. And we were on very low income, so it was extremely painful to have that much negative cash flow each week. So what I ended up doing was I ended up discovering that I should be buying a different type of property. And what the different type of property was that it was a positive cash flow property, and it had good capital growth potential. And most people think they don't exist, and I did too, but it turns out if you know what you're looking for, they definitely exist. But once I saw the light, once I took that leap and did that, bought that property, I could see the opportunity that I was missing out on by holding these two other properties. And I was at the time the sort of investor that says, hey, I hold my properties forever, I never sell. And, at the end of the day, in that situation, it was just a ball and a chain on my leg, and it was bringing me down. That belief was bringing me down. That belief saying, I never sell, I'm a long-term investor. There's a lot of people out there that say they're a long-term investor, and sometimes it's, you just need to sell properties to take it to the next level. And that's the situation I was in. So today, and it was a very hard decision for me. I had to go over it over and over and over again in my head, but ultimately I had it all mapped out, and I could see that I had to sell those, and I made a loss selling them to take my property portfolio to the next level. Today, our property portfolio is 11 properties. It's worth $4 million. If we didn't sell those properties, our property portfolio would be worth maybe about $1 million. And that's the difference between taking that action and going against the grain there to get a better outcome. But I said that because I wanted to give you an idea of why I'm selling the properties again today. I'm selling 4 properties and killing my identity as someone that owns 11 properties to only own 7 properties. And the reason is because I'm selling the properties because, again, me selling the properties is going to take my investment journey to the next level. And where am I going on my investment journey? Guess what? I'm going into commercial property. And the reason I'm going into commercial property is because in commercial property, you can get Wait, let me just start again. In residential investing, the ability for you to grow your property portfolio is heavily dependent on your ability to grow your personal income. And for me, I don't really have a personal income right now, so I can't really grow my property portfolio. So that's a problem for me because I want to grow my property portfolio to become financially free. I've just quit my job now, so in a way I'm financially free, but I want more money, right? I'm living on a very small amount of money right now, and it's not sustainable. But if I keep growing it, I will have more money and we'll be good. But basically, the point is, if you invest in commercial property, there is opportunities as long as you have the money. You don't necessarily need to have an income to grow your wealth that way. So that is why, and that is what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm doing. There was something else about commercial property I wanted to mention when I started this video, and that is the value. I can't even remember what it was, but let me just add this on as well. And this is a bit of a random video because I like to keep most of these videos to residential real estate because I like to help people that are starting out their journey. And if you're starting out your investment journey, you should be looking at residential real estate because that is, let's just say, commercial real estate is a lot more dangerous. You can really get hurt there if you don't know what you're doing. And residential real estate is a lot easier. So that being said, something that I found out about residential commercial real estate is the value of the property is based on what your potential rental income is. So essentially, something that you cannot do in residential real estate because the real estate property values are based on comparable sales. In commercial real estate, the property values are based on the rental income that the property produces. Meaning, if, for example, you were in a situation in commercial real estate where you could double your rental income, that essentially means you can double the value of your property. So that's pretty cool, right? Like, so effectively overnight, the property of your commercial asset could double, and that is essentially one of the big reasons, including the one I said earlier, as why it is that I'm getting into commercial real estate. So yeah, this is a bit of a random video today, and I'm sorry I'm running out of stuff to talk about in residential real estate. But no, I'm just kidding. There's plenty of stuff. There's always stuff to talk about in residential real estate. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight in what I'm up to, what I'm doing personally with my property portfolio, and give some sort of reason as to why I'm selling my properties. All right. If you have any questions at all, just ask them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And please subscribe, and I'll be giving out these tips and tricks every day, the tips and tricks for investing in property. So stay tuned. See ya. Bye.